Welcome to the Adhvaitha Decoding Reality podcast. Today, I will talk about the power of thinking and the power and the potential of our thoughts. We will go into some of the ancient teachings of India and we will understand some ancient concepts in order to understand the power of our minds and how we can shape our reality by consciously controlling our thoughts and our feelings. So it is said that on an average, a person thinks about 70,000 thoughts per day. And there are a lot of books and there are a lot of teachers and there are a lot of teachings on the power of thinking and on how our thoughts shape our reality. And over a decade ago, when I was interested in personal development and taking control of my reality, one of the first books that I read was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This book, as the title itself says, talks about the power of thinking and it talks about how our thinking creates our reality. But as I started exploring different books, different teachings, different teachers, etc., I eventually came to the teachings of the ancient Upanishads. Of course, Upanishads and Vedanta do not directly talk about the power of thoughts and the power of thinking because the teachings of Upanishads talk about a higher reality. They talk about something which is beyond all this. But by understanding different terminologies, different teachings of Bhagavad Gita and the Vedanta, we can understand the importance of thinking and the importance of thoughts. Someone once said, we become what we think about. And this is very true. And the great teacher of Adhvaitha Vedanta, Astavakra, once said, Yamati sa gati bhavet. Which means, however we keep our mind and however we think, such kind of a life we will live. With that, let us understand some concepts that are necessary in understanding the power of thinking. Here, first we need to understand the concept of karma. Karma is action and memory. Basically, our mind, our subtle body, passes through various physical bodies. This is called as reincarnation and rebirth in Hinduism. So we have come to this world a number of times in number of different forms. And there is a lot of accumulated memory of all the actions, of all the intentions, of all the thoughts that was performed by this subtle body or the mind. All of it together is karma. And this karma creates a certain momentum for our life, for this life. And this karma that we have accumulated for ourselves create our vasanas for this life. Vasanas are subtle tendencies which makes us a certain kind of a person. So right now I have a certain kind of a personality. I think a certain way, I feel a certain way, I have different tendencies about different kinds of food, different kinds of people, different concepts, etc. So each of us are very different at the level of our personalities. And these are vasanas. Because of these vasanas, which are the subtle tendencies that we hold, we are a certain kind of a person. Now, because of karma, we have certain vasanas. And because of our vasanas, we have certain samskaras. Samskaras are basically behavioral traits. We all behave in a certain way. There are happy people, there are kind people, there are sad people in this world. So, these behavioral traits are samskaras. Because of our samskaras, we think different thoughts. These thoughts are vrittis. Vrittis are modifications of the mind. So whatever activity happens at the surface level of the mind are the vrittis. Because of our thinking and vrittis, we perform certain kinds of actions. These actions constitute karma again and the cycle continues. This is how we need to look at the reality and this is how we need to understand that we are creating our own reality unconsciously. And in all this, thinking happens at the conscious level. Our samskaras are at the subconscious level, and our vasanas are something which is even deeper. So, if we want to correct our reality and if we want to consciously create our reality, we need to first of all focus on our thinking, which happens at the conscious level, because this is where we have direct access. Like I said earlier, we think about 70,000 thoughts per day, and we become what we think about all day long. I will repeat this because this is very important. We become what we think about all day long. So we need to be extremely conscious about our unconscious thought patterns, and we need to come out of our unconscious thought patterns. And if you have watched any of our previous videos, you understand the premise of ancient Advaita Vedanta. Basically, we are that infinite consciousness. We have infinite potential deep within us. And whatever we pay attention to and whatever we focus on gets empowered. When we think different thoughts and when we bring different vrittis or thoughts to that consciousness, those thoughts become empowered with that infinite consciousness and they find manifestation. Now, every thought might not find manifestation in this physical reality, but every thought does manifest, maybe at subtle level at first. So, we need to take control of our attention. We need to consciously see what kinds of vrittis are we bringing into that consciousness that we are, and what kind of thoughts are we empowering. So we should make sure that we always empower positive thoughts and positive belief systems. And by constantly being aware of our thinking and our thoughts, we can instill new samskaras into our personalities. Once we instill new samskaras, positive thinking becomes automatic. This is when we can start seeing positive results in our lives, and this is how we can begin to create a positive life for ourselves. But this is easier said than done, because samskaras lie deep within our subconscious and they have right now taken control of us. So first of all, we need to disidentify ourselves with those old patterns of thinking and old samskaras, and we need to start being aware of the vrittis that appear at the surface level of our minds, and we need to start thinking about the life that we truly want to live. Once we start doing this habitually, and once we start to repeatedly come out of unconscious thought patterns and start to live consciously, conscious living becomes a part of our life. And through this, along with positive affirmations, meditations, we can instill new positive samskaras and build positive vasanas and come out of the inertia of our past karma. And all of this will create a new life for us, a better life for us. I hope you found this valuable, and if you want to truly understand how to consciously create your life the way you actually want to live, then check out our community cum learning platform, the Adhvaitha Conscious Society. You can find more information by visiting adhvaitha.com.